welcome to Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon Enemchuku. Joining me live in the studio as always, I have with me the ever beautiful Ifoma Oji. Good evening, how are you doing?
Good evening, Sharon.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
You look fine.
Yes, it's Friday.
Yes, the
TGIF,
weekend. The weekend.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that. The
My
energy.
best day of the week, though.
Period. For obvious reasons.
Yes.
Now, we're not doing this alone. We have joining us for the first time via Zoom our analyst in person of Barrister Damaris Najo. For good evening, Ma. How are you doing?
Good evening, Ma.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the show. Now, we're starting first with the headlines that we have. Now, we unpack the firestorm stirred by Abia State Governor Alex Otti, who just declared that anyone planning to rig the 2027 Abia State elections should go ahead and ride their wheels. It's a bold, chilling warning that's raising eyebrows nationwide. Then we shift gears to the IMF's latest list of Africa's fastest growing economies. And once again, Nigeria is nowhere to be found. For Africa's supposed giant, what does this absence say about the reality on the ground? And finally, in what can only be described as a national embarrassment, Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security had his phone stolen at a security summit. Yes, you heard that right. That one's quite funny. So we'll get to that later on. But first, we are starting with what is going on in Abia State. In fact, even before the gubernatorial elections, the current governor of Abia State has come out to give a chilling warning. Now, what he's saying is, he's not saying you shouldn't rig, right? He's giving you the freedom. If you plan to rig the Abia State elections, you have the freedom to do that. But he's saying before you even go ahead to rig the elections, just do one thing for him, which is to write down your will, which is very bold. But what do you make of that statement, Ifoma?
Okay, I think, like I always call him, the man after the people of Abia's heart and maybe Nigerians at large, because I love him. I love the good work that he's doing in Abia State, and I'm saying kudos to him, more grease to his elbow. And as regards this that he said, you know, apart from 2020, what happened with INEC in 2023, the consistency in the glitches and the rest of them have actually made Nigerians lose trust in not just INEC but the entire governance and the system in Nigeria. So he is posing as this person that will actually defend the people of Abia State and to renew their hope that there is still possibility for a fair and transparent election. So that is what he's saying here. And he is not telling you that you should not rig. He's saying, come on, I'm ready for you. Just come and rig. But just know that your actions has consequences and you should start writing your way. It's not like he's going to, you know, buy you or anything like that, but he's trying to tell you that there are legal consequences and you will face the wrath of the law. That's one thing. But yeah, it is actually one thing to actually warn riggers, but it's another thing to put systems in place.
Before we get to the systems, I want to get the opinion of Barrister Damaris on this entire statement. We heard what he said, and to be honest, he didn't elaborate on that, whether it was going to be legal consequences or there was something else in play. Now, he just warned that you should write your will before you go ahead to rig the election. Now, Barrister Damaris, well, what's your take on that?
Well, I think for starters, that's a funny one to write your will. So most times, so statements are made and the intentions are not so clear when they are made. But for instance, when you're talking about writing a will, it means that you're preparing for your death.
Yes.
Okay. And so if I'm to tell you prepare your will, it means that I actually want you to. Yeah, they're all unforeseeable circumstances, but then you should just be prepared. Okay, so I think what he wants to pass across is that you should be prepared for the consequences.
Yeah.
So why I should tell you to write your will is that I needed to prepare for the consequences of your death. So if you die, what happens?
Yeah.
How will the properties be shared and all of that? So it could not be literally how it sounds, but it could just mean if you get into this, you should be prepared for the consequences.
All right,
Thank
now,
you.
okay, so there is a video because I want us to look at that video and get a full understanding of what he actually said. That is for the viewers because we've already looked at that video. But let us take a look at what exactly Governor Alex Otti said.
He wants to run for governorship in 2027, that's fine. It is fundamental human right. Nobody should stop it. But again, we must respect the law. If IMF releases the timetable and says this is the time that campaign starts, if you start campaigning before then, you put yourself in harm's way. You can even be disqualified before the election. So when you gather people and you are telling them you are going to take over the state in 2027, you are campaigning. It's not right. So I will plead with him that if he wants to run an election, he should hold his fire. Once Anna blows the whistle, should go and pick up a form and begin to campaign. It's for other people to decide who will be their governor. It's also important that the APC is talking about, which have leadership, should know that they are being demarcated in Abia State. But I call on our people to still hold their peace and be calm. I've heard that some people around him, they must take over the state, they will write results. The only advice I have to them for them is that if they truly want.
Now, what he said is that the only advice he has for them is to write their will. Now, I'm coming to you, Ifoma. You said before that there are legal consequences here, but who exactly do you think this threat is targeted at? Is it INEC officials or INEC as a body, or politicians that would run for governorship position in Abia State?
Okay, I think it goes both ways. Well, I think he's actually talking or referring to what's his name, Kanu, was the other name, the surname, because he came out one certain time and made some, comments about Alex Otti's leadership, saying that a lot of money have been allotted to his administration,
yes, from the federal,
yes, from the federal pause, and that he was doing little compared to how much was distributed before when he wasn't in the position of power. So Alex Otti is kind of reminding, and I forgot, he said that APC is going to take over in 2027. So it's more like him responding to what he said, to the comments or the statement of Kanu. You understand? Okay. That's what he is directed to. But can I make my comment on what I was saying?
No, sorry. No, it's because of
I
time.
don't know why.
It's because it's not like I don't want you to talk. I also want to ask Barrister Damaris a question as well. So I'm asking you, Barrister Damaris, because of what Ifoma just said now, and she said it is targeted at both INEC as a body and other politicians that might want to, of course, run for governorship in Abia State, which is their constitutional right. Now, there is a statement that is trending, and that is a statement by the newly appointed INEC chairman in person of Joash Amopita. And he is saying that the elections in 2027 will be so free and fair to the extent that losers will even congratulate the winners. With what we are seeing now, a new INEC chairman and the threat from the current Abia State government, if this is so, if we have had free, fair elections in the past, do you think that this would have given Mr. Governor room to make such threats?
Wow. For starters, for the statement that was made by the new INEC chairman, I think it's commendable, but we just hope that it's not just words that are said to for a better presentation, right? But however, I personally think that the statement is made to his contender, that's his opponent, the persons that are interested in coming out for the election. When you talk about being willing to face the consequences, we sure know that in Nigeria, the legal way to face the consequences, or literally to prepare your will, as he said, is through the legal means. That is to go to court. Except he has other intentions, but he didn't let us know. He didn't let us know into other intentions he has. Okay, but it's to follow it through. It means that he's prepared to fight the battle from the lowest court to the highest court to see that the judgment probably rules in his favor. But then, for him to make that kind of statement, it means that he has all his arsenals in place to make sure he gets what he wants.
And now finally, both to you and to Ifoma, just the final question on this particular story before we move on. Do you think that this political posturing is something that other state governors should emulate ahead of the gubernatorial elections, and maybe even generally?
Is it to me?
Yes, to you.
Okay, if they actually want to... Okay, are you... Okay, if they actually want the... you know, for a Nigerian to actually get better, then I think they should actually emulate that. I mean, we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of lapses from my neck and the rest of them. And like I said, at the end of the day, yeah, if I'm to say anything, it might not necessarily be for other political actors in the game to breast or amp up their what's it called, their energy towards the 2027 polls, in the sense that, I mean, they arm themselves legally and otherwise. I think even the youth have a role to play here. So in as much as your governor is trying as much as possible for the election to be transparent and fair, they have a role to play. Exactly. So now, for you, Barrister Damaris, what's your take generally? Do you think that other state governors should emulate Governor Alex Otti's stance?
So truly, the stand is, especially for a sitting governor, once the election does not go in their, like, it doesn't go in their favor, they are truly prepared to go through all that is required. They're really prepared to pass through all the consequences to make sure that they are called back to their seats. So for other state governors that are already on seats, the truth is that they're going to fight to make sure that they come back on seats. So I see them acting no other way than what the governor has already said. All right, very well said. Now we'll only wait and see how all of these unfolds, especially for the forthcoming elections. Now moving on to the next story. Earlier today we saw a rather interesting list released by IMF for states with fastest growing economies. Now I'm just going to list these countries and we'll see if Nigeria made the list. We have number 1, Benin. We have Cote d'Ivoire. We have Ethiopia. We have Rwanda and Uganda. Please, there's no Nigeria on this list. IMF, what's going on? And coming up. Okay, so it's really interesting because just the other day, IMF came out to give a 0.5% increase projection in our GDP for 2025, and the government, the presidency in particular, ate it up. It was them jubilating because of the 0.5% increase. It was formerly projected to be 4.2, but went up to 4.9 thereabout, 3.9 thereabout, and the celebration was really remarkable. Now, it's so funny that the same IMF came out to give a list for economies that are fast growing, and Nigeria did not make that list. How come, Ifoma? Hey, if he didn't, they didn't. That's number 1. You know, this wasn't just about it's not just an embarrassment to Nigeria. It's more Giant of Africa. Yeah, the Giant of Africa. It's more like a mirror held up to, you know, our reality. We call ourselves, just like you mentioned, the Giant of Africa, yet smaller nations like Rwanda, Cote d'Ivoire, and the rest of them are racing ahead of us. And the only thing, and the only reason why they are racing ahead of us is because they are
focused on fixing their system. While Nigeria were here sugarcoating and kind of rubbing our backs on our blames and the rest of them instead of fixing systems. They didn't sit back. That is why you are seeing them on the map. The only thing our president and this government is all about is making flashy headlines with no deliverables. Yes, they said according to IMF or World Bank, then they were saying that Nigeria's GDP has increased to, is it 3.9%?
It's 3.9.
Yes, 3.9%. If they said it has increased, congratulations, but when are we going to see the reflection?
It's not that it has increased, it's a projection.
A projection, thank you. When are we going to see, even our president have come out to say that, that there's no corruption in Nigeria. So what I'm saying here is that when are we going to see the reflection of these reforms and the development, or, all these things in the lives of Nigerians? I tell you that the common man or the common family man in Nigeria cannot even feed 2 square meals in a day. So where are all these reforms? So there is no government that will come out and tell us they are working on reforms, or they've worked on reforms whereby people are dying daily. Sicknesses are everywhere. And even the people that are not in the country are feeling the heat. We that are in the country. So it's unless the reflection starts showing on Nigerians here, that's the only way we'll know that, we are making headway.
All right, thank you for that, Ifoma. Now to you, Barrister, do you think that the Tinubu administration is actually economic centered on growing our economy? Barrister, did you get that?
Wow. Yes, I did. Okay. If IMF, right?
Yes.
If what they released is saying that Nigeria is nowhere in the GDP readings or in the ratings, it means that we still have a whole lot to do. We all stay in Nigeria and we also know what is happening. When citizens do not even reconcile with what is obtainable with what's happening. For instance, you mentioned Uganda. Citizens would actually align with the fact that their economy is growing. So we can't just see a projection of 23.9% from Nigerian stakeholders, and we ourselves aligning with it, because, for instance, we are already being amused by the fact that they are projecting what is not obtainable. And IMF, is also with the ratings. Probably they would have done a lot of research to have come up with the highest, with the numbers that are already rising. So they would have done a lot of research. And so what they are seeing is not different from what we citizens also align with. You can't tell us that we have 23.9% projection in our growth, and we can't relate to it. Okay, though there's some things that are commendable, there's some things that you could say that is rising, but I think that we can't even say that Nigeria is getting up to what is expected, because from what we citizens see, from what we know that our economy is not growing anywhere near what is expected. So I think I believe what IMF has actually said concerning the economic growth and to the countries that are already rising, I think it's commendable from them. And Nigeria, even though we are the giant of Africa, I think there are some things that we could learn from those countries.
Exactly.
If they are growing, then it means that there are some things we need to learn from them.
All right, thank you very much.
Sharon,
we are going on a short break
before that, please. This thing that we are talking about right now, are you aware that the president is going to come and defend this? Are you aware? And we'll still see more, borrowing. We'll still borrow our way to prosperity. All
right. Now, on that note, we're going on a quick, short break, and when we get back, we'll continue on to the next story. Don't go nowhere.
2025. The vision for Anambra State in the next 4 years will be determined as we'll be electing our next governor. That's what I present to you guys this governorship debate. That is not your regular kind of governorship debate. This is Voices Beyond the Front Line, where you get to stay in one room with the governorship candidates and hear them talk about their manifestos, the plans, and their targets. You get to sit and hear them talk. You get to ask them questions and get clarified. And by so doing, you can easily dictate who you want to elect on the election day, right? So this is amazing, I know. So join us at Hollywood Event Center on the 24th of October, 3 p.m. Let's hear those men talk and make the choices we deserve.
Citizen farms, turning waste into wealth. Every farmer knows the struggle of the rising feed costs, wasted produce, and shrinking profits. So what if the solution has been right under your nose? In fact, in nature itself. At Active Citizen Farms, we unlock the secret of the black soldier fly larva, tiny creatures with a big impact. Our maggots, pre-pupae and pupae, are packed with natural protein, giving your fish, chicken, pigs, and turkeys the healthy boost they need to grow faster and stronger. The impact you'll see: healthier livestock that grow quicker and resist disease. Lower feeding cost, so your money stays where it belongs, in your pocket. Cleaner fats, as waste is recycled into valuable feed instead of rotting away. Bigger harvest and higher profits, giving you the power to expand your farming business. But we don't just supply, we walk the journey with you. Through hands-on training, we show farmers how to harness this simple innovation, turning everyday waste into a steady stream of feed and income. This is not just about farming, it's about food security, sustainability, and prosperity. By choosing Active Citizen Farms, you're not only feeding your animals, you're feeding Africa's future. Active Citizen Farms. Smart farming, healthy animals, prosperous farmers. Active Citizen Farms. Unlocking the power of black soldier fly larva, turning maggots into money. All right, you're welcome back from that quick break. The show is still Active Citizens Parliament, and we were having a discussion about the situation that happened in Kaduna State. So now the security commissioner in Kaduna was robbed at a security summit where they were actually supposed to talk about security issues befalling Kaduna State and how to tackle that. And my first question is to you, Ifoma. What does it say when a security chief, for that matter, gets robbed at a security event?
It is an embarrassment, and insecurity has happened to them. Nigerians will tell you that in the comment section. But yeah, like I said earlier, it is an embarrassment. If a conference like that involves a lot of high-profile official security agents, somebody still smuggled their way to steal the commissioner's phone. If they cannot even protect an ordinary gadget, what more people's lives? If they cannot protect a gadget, should Nigerians rely on them to protect their lives? That is number one question. You know, this set of persons, they always try as much as possible to invest so much in biscuits and tissue. And they try as much as possible to wear uniforms. Some of them go ahead, to iron their uniforms, even though they go to the, bush, and then they do one thing or the other. But at the end of the day, like I was saying, they invest on individuals instead of infrastructure, instead of system. I'm not done. It is quite painful that we cannot even hope. They tell you that police is your friend, but police is not our friend. If you see the rate at which these people brutalize Nigerians or citizens because they carry arms,
all right.
It is so appalling, to be honest.
Now to you, Barrister, I'm going to ask a question, maybe two questions in total. But how do you think, how safe is the average Nigerian if you see commissioners, the security commissioners, being robbed at security events? And secondly, do you think that this could be an inside job or just an outright insecurity situation?
Okay, so first of all, I actually think that there are some things that are not supposed to come up to the news, to the story. You know, it's alarming to see that a security personnel that is supposed to be security conscious is being robbed, okay, and something as important as the phone. So it means that if a security personnel that is supposed to be conscious is not conscious enough, so what happens to us as citizens? So really, it speaks a lot about what we have in Nigeria. It also speaks a lot about our security. We actually need to, the security needs to tighten up, okay? And the truth is that a lot of stories happen, a lot of things happen, and definitely this is an insider-related event because I know that for top officials, you can approach them easily without passing through one or two protocols. And so for something this to have happened, it means that someone close by, personally, probably someone also, an armed officer, a uniformed person would have done this. Okay, and I also want to say that some of the security personnel are also very careless. Okay, you get to some social events and then you see phones lying across, maybe because they also know that some persons are watching out for them, and then you see their phones at their side, at the other side, and all that. Some of them even stand and then you see their phone drop at the side, and so it calls on them to be a little bit conscious. Not even a little bit, should be more conscious of their environment. And because these persons feel that persons are watching out for them, they do not take care of themselves. And then to also see that this is a security official, it goes to tell us that there are a lot of insecurity issues in Nigeria we really need to watch out for.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Now, this is where we're going to call it a wrap on the show. We have talked about different things, starting from Abia State Governor and the statement, the rather bold statement that he made concerning the forthcoming elections. We went on to talk about the popular IMF's list for fastest growing economy, and then we finally touched down in Kaduna State, where the Commissioner for Security's phone was stolen at a security event. Talking about it even is laughable, but these are the stories that we are treating today. Thank you very much, Barrister Damaris, for joining us today for the very first time. We hope to see more of you joining in the future.
Definitely.
And to you, Ifoma Otti,
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Of course. And to Ifoma as well, thank you for always joining as usual. And of course to our viewers for your joining and your engagements. We appreciate that, and we say keep it up. If you're yet to follow us across all social media platforms, please endeavor to do so. Find us at Active Citizens. You can find me on my personal page at Sharon Enemchuku. And you?
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Miss Alex.
Till we come your way next week, do have a great weekend.